Hi, I'm Bob Schneider. I'm talking about my art that is at Musicians Who Make Art, uh, and wherever that is. The Art Car Museum, which is in...
It's in Houston.
It's in Houston, where I am right now. I'm at the Mucky deck right now. And, all right, so what do you want me to talk about my art? What would you like to know about? You were talking about the title. I have a piece in the show called "I Got Stuck to the Inside of Your Head." I don't know where any of it comes from. Mostly I just kind of get still, and then like whatever comes into my head, I usually write down as far as music. And with all of the pieces that I've done at Flatbed, it's all stream of consciousness. I'll start out with just I have no idea what the drawing is going to end up being. I mean, it usually ends up being some kind of figure, but it's usually like a collage of lots of figures that create one bigger figure. But I start with whatever. I'll draw a bug or a hand or some teeth or a finger or something, and then I'll draw something else, and then I'll draw something else, just whatever comes into my head. And I try to have fun with it. I try to not be boring with the work, so I try to make it shocking or titillating or so a lot of people like will look at my stuff and like they'll see a lot of genitalia or
There's a lot of narrative.
well there's just a lot of like images that hopefully are, for me at least, when I'm drawing them, they're not boring. And I'm just trying not to be boring, really, is what it boils down to. But then people will see it all together and they're like, ooh, what's wrong with this guy? Is this guy a weirdo or a freak or something because of the imagery? But really, no, I'm just trying to make something that's, again, that's just not, that's interesting to look at. So that's my main goal.
Well, it really pulled me in when I look at the work.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you were in front of your painting, but unfortunately I had to grab you at the Mucky Duck. But I am going to hold this up just to show a little bit of an image, which you can't really tell with this camera. But it's very intricate, very meticulous, very detailed, and I think it's fabulous. It's very powerful, and you almost don't have to understand it. You just have to hunt. It's like a hunt, a treasure hunt, and you just go in there and see all the little details in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in it.
I wanted to ask you though, do you dream big? Have really vivid dreams?
Not really. I mean, I used to dream a lot more because I would sleep in and I would have those dreams in the morning where you're like half asleep and half awake, and so I would remember those more. Now I tend to wake up and then not go back to sleep just because my mind is racing all the time. So I don't sleep the way I used to.
When do you do art? I mean, does it just come over you, or do you plan on going, like you're going to go to Flatbed and you're going to make this work, or do you just get up and all of a sudden it just hits you and you just start doing it?
Well, with the art, it's been a deal where most of my creative energy has gone into making music over the last 20 years, and so I mean, months will go by, sometimes years will go by without me doing anything, and then I'll feel compelled to do some art of some kind, and that may last for a day or may last for a month or a couple months, and usually I kind of expend that energy, and then I stop doing it and I go back to making music.
Which came first, the art or the music, originally?
Both about the same time. I mean, I've been playing music since I was 4. I was drawing since I was, at least that, if not younger. So I did them my whole life. I was encouraged to do both by my parents. They kind of gave me this idea that I was really good at both at an early age. So I've always felt it is something I can do, which is, I think, really what artists, the reason that people are artists is because at some point they just tell themselves, oh, this is something I can do, and then they do it. And then the people that aren't artists just tell themselves that they're not, and then they're not. But really all you have to do is just tell yourself that you're an artist, and then you are an artist, and you will make art. And if you tell yourself you're not, then you won't. And it's as simple as that. And then you talk to people and they're like, well, I couldn't do art. And it's like, well, yeah, you can't do art because you tell yourself you can't. But if you told yourself you could, then you would. And it's not about how good you are technique-wise either. I mean, it helps to have great technique, and you'll get better as you do it. But that's not really what
How
it's
does
about.
how does it serve you making art in a way that music doesn't?
I don't know. I don't know why I don't enjoy making art. It's very tedious most of the time. But I like having art in my house. The main reason I make art is because it's easier to make it than it is to go out and buy it. It's expensive to buy good art, so I like making it, and then I have it. I don't sell it. The one thing I like about Flatbed is I can make prints. And there's a lot of heavy hand, they're all wiped by hand and printed by hand. It's not like some sort of machine that prints them out. They're printed out one at a time, inked one at a time, printed out one at a time. So you still have that real close relationship to the artist with the print, but there's more than one, so I don't have to give away the work.
Do you make the same amount of prints in like a series?
No, they're different editions. It just depends. And I don't even sell them. The deal I work out with Flatbed is I get half the edition, they get the other half, and they sell the other half. Mm-hmm. And my edition I just give to people for presents and stuff like that. So I've never spent any time trying to sell art, or I don't look at it that way at all. It's not commerce for me or a business. It's just something I do. And I don't know why, because but sometimes I feel like I should do it. And lately I've been doing these big wood sculptures that kind of go along with these really giant pencil drawings that I've been doing. And I feel kind of crazy when I'm doing it, because I really don't know why I've decided to expend the energy to do it. I've probably spent $1,000 on power tools just to be able to make these things, and I don't know if I'm going to have any use for them when I'm done.
You can sell the tools if you decide you
I can sell the tools, but it's weird. I mean, part of me, I really believe that that this work is actually, for some reason, I think it's important, and I think I'll sell it for a lot of money, and I think I'll sell it to museums and art collectors. I don't have any interest in selling it to sort of casual collectors. I may give some of it away, but it's a weird feeling I have. Because there's nothing that I don't have any experience or any thing in my life where that this is true. But in my head, I've had these feelings in the past where I knew something about something before it happened, and it happened that way. So that's what I feel like about this art. So I am spending a lot of time doing some art right now, but it's strange. I feel weird doing art. It's different stuff that I haven't done before, so it makes me feel crazy. And I think of like other people, like somebody like Jackson Pollock, who was making art like in his barn or something, and getting a lot of like not really getting any feedback, kind of living in a vacuum and creating this artwork. And I don't know if that's,
because you're alone.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
you're not engaging with an audience. You're engaging with what the work that you're making, and that's it. You and the
it's a weird feeling. I mean, there's nobody there. It's not like there's a gallery that wants to show this stuff or anything, but I think it'll
Would you like to be in a gallery if somebody was interested here?
Well, I have this idea that I'm going to have like a big show in a year with this stuff. I don't know.
And what you're doing now is completely different from this, because I haven't seen it yet, but it's on the Flatbed Press website.
No. The stuff I'm doing now is these big wood sculptures and these giant pencil drawings that don't have anything to do with anything I've done before.
Well, I would think that if you didn't make art, you would go crazy, because your music wouldn't be enough, would it?
Well, no, I don't think that's the case.
Because it just looks so obsessive. There's so much. You seem so prolific. There's so much that just in one drawing, rather than a group.
Yeah, I don't hardly do drawings like that anymore. It's weird. I know a lot of artists. I have a lot of artist friends who did a lot of really sort of labor-intensive work when they were younger. That do sort of simplified stuff now. That's not as interesting. I don't think the stuff I'm doing now is as interesting as the stuff I was doing 15 years ago. But for whatever reason, I don't really have any interest in doing the more labor-intensive stuff. I don't think I have as much to prove or something. And I think when you're younger, you have something to prove, and so you end up with really great art because of it. And as you get older, maybe the art softens a little bit, and it's different. I'm not saying which is better or which is worse, but
well, I want to thank you for
Thanks.
taking time out to do this. It's
My
really
pleasure.
important to me. Thank you very much for being a part of the show.
You're welcome.